the centre point of it is always the Ashes urn. Many of you may know the story of the Ashes. I'll tell you the English version. Unfortunately, it's not a great version. Got to go back to 1882 when Australia sent a side to England. They only played one test match, and it wasn't at Lord's. It was that other ground in London. And August the 28th, 1882, Australia won the toss. They decided to bat. Does anyone know how many runs they got in their first innings? Remember, Australia in a test match, first innings. Any guesses? 63. Shall I say that again? Australia 63 all out. England didn't do a lot better. They went in, they all out for 101. Second innings, Australia got their act together and got 122. So to win the test match, England needed to score 85 runs. They were 53 for 3. 30 runs, 7 wickets left. And we did what we did against Bangladesh. We collapsed. And we're all out for 77. So England had lost by 7 runs. Can you imagine the papers of the next few days saying what a terrible side England were, because that was the first time Australia had beaten England on English soil. And in the Sporting Times there was an obituary notice, and it said, in affectionate remembrance of English cricket that died at the Oval, the body will be cremated and the ashes taken to Australia. So that's the first time the word ashes has been used in terms of a cricket match. So that's where the word ashes comes from. And ever since that, England against Australia, we played for the Ashes. And this is the Ashes urn. But where did that come from? Well, England wanted revenge. So a man called the Honourable Ivo Blight decided to take a team to Australia. He said, I'm going to win back the Ashes. He was anything but positive. So he said, we're going to win back the Ashes. And he went to Australia with a team. And they were staying at the home of Lord and Lady Clark, just outside Melbourne, at a house called Rupert's Wood. Somebody tells me there's a programme on telly called Downton Abbey.
Yes.
Right, where they had a house that big, and they had servants. So they got Lord and Lady Clark, got the butler, the chauffeur, a few chambermaids, a few gardeners, and played against England in a beer match, just for a bit of fun. And England managed to win that, but 2 ladies called Florence Morphy and Lady Clark wanted to give the England captain a memento. They'd had good fun, they'd had a few beers, so she went up to her bedroom, and on her dressing table was a perfume bottle. There's the perfume bottle. Poured the perfume out and burnt. Some people say a stump, some people say a bale. We're not really sure, but put the ash in the perfume bottle and presented it to the England captain. So the Ashes are nothing to do with the test match, it's just a broken perfume bottle. And there it is. And that's the original. That's why I just checked any Aussies around, because it's locked. Any questions? There's quite a romantic side to this story, because the music teacher that presented it to the England captain, they courted, they married, they became Lord and Lady Darnley, and this was in their home for many years until 1927. In 1927 it was presented to the MCC for safekeeping, so we've had it here since 1927. So, but it was private property up until then. But that stays here, even if Australia sometimes win. That goes backwards and forwards. That's the Ashes trophy, and that's only been in existence since 1999. And that goes backwards and forwards depending who wins the series. As you see, it's the same shape, just a lot bigger. And it was made in the Waterford Crystal Company in Ireland. Wonderful, wonderful trophy. How it's not got broken since 1999, I don't know, but there we go.
Surprise.
Yeah. The other trophy we've got here is the World Cup. So it's the Prudential World Cup. The final was always at Lord's in the 70s, and in 1983, against all the odds, the Indian team beat the West Indies. We had a very strong team, and that was the last time that was presented. So that's not been presented since 1983 when India won it.
Is that because the sponsors changed?
The sponsors changed, yeah. The Prudential no longer sponsored And so we kept the original and we gave the Indian team a replica.
Yeah.
We sort of do that quite a lot. We don't win many trophies, but we keep lots of the cups. So next year, if you come to Lords, you'll see the Women's World Cup final. So the World Cup coming back to Lords again, and in 2019 the Men's World Cup will come back to Lords. So we're very pleased about that. That's why there's a lot of development on the ground. The new Warner stand and the media centres all being refurbished, ready for the World Cup. So this is a wonderful museum. Up here we've got really a sort of a temporary exhibition that every year we change. So this year obviously Pakistan came, so a Freebie shirt there. We've got a lot of the memorabilia from Asian teams. Next year we'll have a lot from South Africa and the West Indies up here. So we can change it quite easily. You can imagine we've got 500 paintings of cricketers and cricketing scenes. We've got literally hundreds of cricket bats that have been used by some of the great players in the world. So the memorabilia really is a big issue these days. There's lots of memorabilia around that we can show people.
So you do rotate.
We do
rotate touring teams.
Yeah. I took John T. Rhodes' son around the other day. John T. emailed me, said I want to show his son the ground. So we got John T. Rhodes' shirt, so the bat that he used when he got 117 here. So we were able to show his son a little bit of his dad's thing. And Sachin, I took Sachin round a couple of years ago because Arjan, his son, is now making his way in cricket, and he wanted to see where Dad changed. Unfortunately, Sachin never got a century at Lords. 37 was his highest score, but Brian Lara never got a century. Jack Cullis never got a century. Ricky Ponting. So some of the four greatest batsmen of recent times never got a century.
Plenty of visiting Test players who got out in the 90s.
Yeah. And one England player, Mike Atherton, got out on 99 in his debut Test at Lords, and he said rather easily, he said, "Oh, I'll get a century here." He never got a century. Played the rest of his career, never got a century. And who ran him out? Mike Gatting. I think they're still speaking to each other.
One question for you. I came here for that Middlesex Yorkshire game of the season. Now the Warner stand's being rebuilt, obviously presumably for the 2019 World Cup. But from what I could see, it doesn't look as if it'll be much bigger than the stand it's replacing.
It will be a little bit bigger, and it'll have a few more seats, but people are getting bigger these days, so the width of the seats and the things.
Seriously, something to do, making the seats
a bit bigger and more legwork. But it will increase the capacity to just over 30,000.
Right, okay.
Yeah, that's a lovely stand. That's going to have a big restaurant up there, which I've got to check out. So it's up to standard, I'm sure. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you've got to go back to the long room, and later on I think you're going to be uncomfortable for the rest of the night.